Good morning, dear international friends, colleagues, and students. It's my honor to stand here, share my academic, research with all of you, and I appreciate any good suggestions and comments later. Today, my topic is female participation in urban governance at contemporary China. Why I talk about this issue? I think every day remember that from last year, Hillary Clinton, competed. Possibly, we all of us know, he competed dramatically with Obama, tried to be the candidate, presidential candidate of USA. But of course, she failed. But that didn't mean, female participation is always a question. So it became a hot issue in the whole world. So everybody cared at that time whether the world could accept a female president, right? And that's one question I feel interested in female participation. Another important reason is a lot of my international friends, they're curious about the female position in China. They want to know what kind of position today for the female since the dramatic transformation happened in China. That's the second reason. So a lot of international friends ask me when I attend some international conference or exchange with other international scholars. So they are curious about this question. So that's the second reason I focus on this issue. The third reason, because my academic interest is the governance, especially local governance. I do have a lot of good friends who are the female leaders in China, and they are quite successful, especially like metropolitan area of Shanghai. We really have a high percentage of the female leaders. That's for those reasons, I do consider the female participation is a very controversial issue and also a very hot issue. Okay, now let's talk about the female participation in urban governance at contemporary China. My theoretical hypothesis is from public participation. Then I talk female participation. I think public participation empowers public selection of public servers, and because you can see, because of the public participation, then we could have the public could have the choice to make select what kind of public service they are interested in, and possibly could improve the quality of public service of city government. And the third, public participation enhances the legitimacy of grassroots government. Public participation shares the responsibility of government, not weaken the power and authority of government. So that's a kind of opinion totally different from the traditional consideration, because during the past years, most of the scholars and even the officials, they consider public participation would weaken or would reduce the authority and the power of the government. So they consider they dislike so-called public participation. But today they recognize that public participation could help the government and let the official possibly share the responsibility of the government. Then the fifth one is public participation makes the government become much more transparent. Since public participation, could promote those make those kind of progress, then we see the female participation. Most of scholars consider female participation, they usually, like the feminism, or they usually consider about the women's right, and so they will focus on the political participation of the female. Today I talk about the female participation, mostly focus on from the governance aspect. And we see female participation make the society much more equality and fairness. Female participation represents the right of the minority of the society. So possibly you will curious that seeing the female today not as a minority, but here why I use the minority of the society. Even in China, we do have a very interesting phenomenon because every year we have a very controversial examination in the whole country because we will select the public servant and lots of candidates. They will compete with each other and it become the #1 examination in China because of the competition. Most of the females, they are successfully pass the examination, and it even become a problem because some public departments, they try to choose one of the male public servants, but they found that's very difficult because all of the candidates successfully pass the examination are female. So it becomes a very controversial issue. So in the near future, it will become a big problem. And female, but even like that, I still mention is they are belong to a minority. Why? I'll tell you later. Female participation represents the balance of the power structure. Female participation will help to build up democracy in China. That's my hypothesis. Since I do this research just based on the social background, the best characteristics of the information society on the globalized era. First, I think transparency is one of the important characteristics. By the technological development, we know transparency of government become possible. So that's the reason some public departments, they are even feel like kinds of challenge because all of the candidates seem are female. How could they choose or select one of the male candidates? And in China, sometimes we said we are not during the past time we are not an open system or transparent system, especially for the government particular system. But today, because of the technology development, transparency become possible. We could have a lot of cases to testify this opinion. Second, the transparent system keeps public voice as an important factor to make decisions. Like one of the successful cases happened even at Shanghai. Last winter we have a so-called walking period. So-called walking period means a lot of citizens they just dislike one of the policies made by the government, so they try to gather together on the make a period. But sometimes by the former tuner to make a period is very difficult, so they use a mobile message, the cell phone message, and gather together very fastly and make a huge pressure for the government. For the time reason, I would like to exchange the opinions with you later, and especially about the cases. If you are curious about these cases, we could talk later. And the third, female participation could be accepted because of the urban society. That's the first important characteristics of the current China and also current world, we should say, because of the globalization. Second is competition and cooperation become very important. So the competition needs participation, as all of us know. Second, more and more women involved in political system and governance in urban China, just like I mentioned. Third, particular social development make the female participation become possible. As all of us know, in China we have a long historical traditional culture, and the female usually their major role is at home, to stay at home.